Hello, 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 my friends. This is Dr. David Snyder checking in with you. Welcome to Hidden Laws of Attraction, Manifestation Mastery. In the next 2.5 to 3 hours, I'm going to take you on a journey into the wonderful world of what I like to call neuromantic manifestation. This is a blending of the most up-to-date neuroscience combined with vibrational science, quantum physics, as well as teachings from some of the oldest mystery schools on planet Earth today, where they all tend to dovetail and come together. And most importantly, where they kind of disagree. At the end of the day, my goal here is for you to come away with having a process that you can use to begin to become a master of manifestation. That's my goal. Of course, if the scope of everything in the art of manifesting or attracting, the law of attraction, as we like to call it, is this big, even on a 2.5 or 3 hour seminar, I've got time for this. So before we get into what I lovingly call the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show, I'd like to just kind of say make sure that we're in the right place, right? So how many of you, by a show of hands, are a first-time caller, long-time fan, or are checking in with us for the first time? Go ahead and just type that me in the chat and where you're checking in from, if you could, because the more I know about what makes, what brought you here and what you want to get out of tonight, the better I can target these things for you, right? All right. And people are still trickling in. So this is a great place. This is a great time to kind of get to know you, getting to know you, getting to know all about. Sorry, had a Broadway moment. It's over now. Not by a long shot. Part of what people show up for besides the Dr. David vests is the showmanship. So we're going to keep putting on a show whenever we can, because as long as you're having fun, you're on the fast track to manifestation, which kind of brings us to the first rule of manifesting the things that we want and the things that we don't want. And that is, what vibration are you holding? What state, psycho-emotional state are you in when you are seeking to do your manifestations? At first, it's going to seem a little bit like we're meandering as we go through tonight's training. But as we go through it, things will start to get tied together for you. So I see I got Liddy out there. Good to see you, Liddy. And there's Jeremy. And Whitney, of course, I had a conversation with right before the training. And Sanjeev's checking in with us. Darren from Redding, California. Welcome, Darren. Liliana, welcome. Bob, or Robert, Bodine. Have you been in my class before? There's Conrad. Since you've been a fan since you were young, huh? All right. I used to be young once. Now I'm just seasoned. I'm leveling up, as we say. There's Edie. Haven't seen Edie in a while. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So how many veterans do we have from Planet David? If you've been in Planet David for more than 6 to 12 months, type your name, where you're checking in from, and how long you've been in Planet David. I see our brothers and sisters out in YouTube land. If you see me looking off to the side, it's primarily because I have a chat devoted exclusively for my YouTubers, and that's off to this side here. My Zoomers are over here, and I'm looking right at you. He's looking at you, kid, right? If I seem a little hyper, it's because I am. Let's just be honest. There's Jackie from Arkansas. Welcome. Lisa from Florida. Good to see Lisa again. Conrad's been around at least 2 years. Cool. All right. So, like I said, I'm gonna go through the stuff that every webinar teacher has to go, or facilitator has to go through. There's Joaquin. Very good. At the beginning of every webinar, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts. Now, for those of you who've been around Planet David for any length of time, you know that our webinars are not standard 90-minute pitch, buy my stuff webinars, right? My goal with each of these webinars is to give you an experience. It's to guide you through a series of transformations and have you walk away with a few solid gold radioactive nuggets that you can start applying in the real world immediately and see a measurable shift, a measurable set of results, while at the same time giving you a path to continue that learning, right? And that, of course, that path to continue that learning is always the offer that we've put together for you for the end of tonight's training. And you're going to want to stick around to the end of the night's training, because even though we follow a similar format, every one of these webinars, even though we cover similar content, is different because the vibration of the person showing up, the cohort, is different, right? And to me, law of attraction and manifestation, the word attraction has a deep meaning in my life for me, because like many of you, whether you'll admit it or not, many of us started out in the attraction direction by wanting to, wait for it, make somebody else more attracted to us. True or not true? How many of you maybe found us because you were looking to improve your social life a little bit? Anybody? Bueller? Type in the chat. All right. So, by the way, this is the interactive portion of the webinar. I do, in fact, thrive on interaction. Rob says social and business. Very good. Conrad said the training outside, so this was more fun. Well, at least you're honest, right? Paul says, you know it, right? Some of us are upfront about it. Some of us are not. I'll be honest with you. My journey into manifestation and law of attraction started almost at the same time as my interest in body language and human influence trainings. And I had a very strong interest almost from the time I came out of the womb in magic and metaphysics and psychic abilities and hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, right? Not that I was the kid walking around with the Gandalf t-shirt or anything, but I was very much someone who believed that there, or at least at the beginning, because we never really know, but as a child, we want to believe there's more to this nuts and bolts reality that meets the eye. But we also have these practical desires, like getting a girlfriend or getting a boyfriend, right? Getting that brand new bike or getting that brand new car or whatever. And so I became very, very interested very, very early on in how does this all work, right? Why is it that some people can seemingly go through life and things just fall in their lap? How does that work? Is karma really a thing? Does karma really matter? Is it something that they're doing inside their head? Is it something they're doing with their emotions? Is there something about their belief systems that they had growing up that are different from mine? Turns out that the answer is not one thing. The answer is that there are many different factors and there's many different reasons why the law of attraction works for some people consistently and not as consistently for others. There's a reason why sometimes even in your life, there are certain things that are super easy to manifest and other things is like pushing against a brick wall. How many have had that experience where there are certain things that you can manifest like falling off a log, but other things, not so much? Anybody? Type me in the chat. Okay, so this webinar is for you if you've ever failed at the law of attraction. If you've ever failed at manifesting something you want, type me in the chat. Not that I want you to admit to failure, because chances are you didn't fail. There was just something you didn't know, or something that was in your way that you didn't know about. If you've ever felt like something was holding you back or blocking you from getting the thing you know you should be able to get, type me in the chat. Right? If you've ever found yourself reliving patterns over and over and over again, like dating the same person with a different face, or having the same asshole boss at 5 different jobs, right? Those are patterns. And those patterns, the one thing that one of my more infamous mentors like to say, the one thing that all of these experiences, all of these contexts, all of these situations have in common is the person they're happening to, right? Now, lest you think the universe has singled you out to be persecuted and frustrated, not so much. Every single one. It's one of my good friends, Chase Hughes, likes to say that we're all the products of childhood abandonment, betrayal, and suffering and abandonment. Okay. And that is true. As a therapist, for those of you who don't know my background, my name is Dr. David Snyder, and I have been hailed as one of the leading NLP practitioners and trainers in the world for the last 9 years. I've bounced back and forth between positions 1 and 2 at globalgurus.org. I actually do have a doctorate in Chinese energetic medicine, as well as Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine. I've maintained a clinic and an active practice here in Solana Beach, California, since 2005, where my specialty has been treating physiological illness that is caused by repressed emotion. On top of that, I've authored over 15 different products on various forms of human influence, ways to, but not just human influence, transpersonal influence, how to manifest, how to work with the energies that the quantum physicists are studying, like biophotons and things of that nature, and how that actually interacts with the nervous system, and how you can begin to do that yourself. And those are the courses that we've been putting out. Those are the webinars we've been putting out over the course of the last 20 some years, is how you can tap into this system and do it very, very easily from home. Or if you want to come out to our live events, we can show you how to do that. I have a 10th degree black belt in the martial arts. I've got more energy healing credentials than McDonald's sells hamburgers, right? And I've been very, 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 very fortunate. And when I first started this journey, I thought luck was an accident. I thought that luck was something that you either had or you didn't. I didn't realize until 15-ish years ago that luck is something you can manufacture. Luck is something that you can cultivate and create and generate, right? And there's a lot of good science now from many different institutions and many different niches, some of whom talk to each other, some of whom do not. That shows that this is something that you, if you understand how the system works, you can cultivate and become a magnetic miracle manifestation magician, for lack of a better word, right? There's a lot of alliteration in there. But the truth is we all come into this world with a system, a machine, a computer, to use a much overused term. We come into this world with this machine we call the body and the brain. And again, depending on which side of the woo fence you're on, if you're super sciencey, we can explain this all in terms of super science. If you're super woo, right, we can explain it all in terms of the wonderful world of woo. They're not, just because they have different terminologies. If, again, this is where NLP allows us to bridge that gap between these two very often adversarial worlds or points of view. And that is the idea that there is a common structure to all of this because it's the same universe. It's the same universe. And if you spend any amount of time in Planet David, you're going to hear the term, wait for it, it's all the same. Okay. Fun factoid, that was a phrase that was given to me by my instructor in modern Arnis many, many years ago, Grandmaster Remy Preisas. And what Professor would do is Professor was known as the father of modern Arnis. The modern Arnis is a Filipino martial art, originally started in the Balintawak style, and then professors traveled all through the Philippines, collecting other people's systems and putting them together to create a system that could be learned easily and is fun to practice and without all the hand bashing and stuff. That's not really the point, though. The point is that professor would go from martial arts school to martial arts school to martial arts school to martial arts school, and he would teach Taekwondo stylists, and he would teach Kung Fu stylists, and he would teach Japanese and Okinawan karate stylists. He would teach Silat stylists. He would teach anybody who wanted to learn his art, not because he was trying to convert his art. And this is where it becomes very, very relevant to us, because Professor never, ever, ever build his art as an alternative to anybody's system. What he said, and I've found this to be 1000% true today, he built what he did as the system within the system. In other words, he would walk into a Kung Fu school and show the Kung Fu students how what they were doing was identical to what he was doing and how it fit. And he would give them fun and exciting drills that would allow them to expand what they were doing within their own art. Then he would go into a karate school and he would show them the same thing. Then he would go into a jiu-jitsu school and show them the same thing. NLP allows us to perceive and explore the art within the art, the science within the science, the structure behind all subjective human experiences. And that's the key factor. Manifestation is a subjective experience with objective measurable results. 99% of your manifestation and law of attraction stuff will be mediated by your subconscious mind. The other 1%, which is critical, and maybe I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but the other part of that has to happen is you must act on the things you seek to manifest. You must actually take actions in the physical world that move your agenda forward, that move your life in the direction of the manifestations you're seeking to bring through. You must embody the changes you seek to make. Now, there's a lot of ways that people go about doing that. And we're going to share some of those with you tonight. So I'm going to share with you some of the most powerful bulletproof ways to do that, right? But before I do, I want to just ask you a couple questions, if I may, right? If I could show you how to find some of the things that are holding you back from manifesting the life you want or the things you want, the way you want it, would that be a good use of your time? Type it in the chat if you think that's a good use of your time. Cool. If I could show you a way to begin clearing those things so you can start to get on the fast track to manifesting the life you want the way you want it, would that be a good use of your time? Type it in the chat. Gotta let me know, guys. All right. If I could show you some of the most powerful, effective, consistent, bulletproof methods to manifest things on a consistent basis, would that be helpful? Would that be a good use of your time? Then that is what I'm going to do tonight. I am going to, like I said, if this is the scope of everything there is to learn in this realm, I have time for this. So I promise you something, two things. A, if I could show you how to keep the learning going forward, would you guys be interested in keeping your momentum going and getting access to even higher levels of training and teaching? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Type yes if you think that's a good deal. Okay, right? Cool. Now, for any of you who didn't type yes or had that moment, that's the first block. You have a mechanism inside you known as the reticular activating system and a belief system. And these two things have one job, basically, to keep you the same. That's their job. How many people how many hypnotists do we have on tonight's training? Show of hands. How many hypnotists, coaches, therapists, mentors? Okay. All right. There's Liddy. Okay. So here's my first little point. Your belief systems govern what you're allowing what your nervous system will allow you to perceive. Okay. Let me say that two more times. You'll know something is important because I will repeat it 3 times. How many people have ever heard an expression or an expression that's similar to what you believe you perceive and what you perceive you believe? Okay. When you hear a recursive sentence like that, what you're experiencing, what you're becoming exposed to is something known as a feedback loop. Now, your entire system, your entire neurology, your entire physiology is based on an incalculable number of interacting feedback loops or feedback mechanisms. Okay, you have the mind-body interface, you have the hormonal testosterone and estrogen balances in your body. Everything about your system is feeding back on itself and making adjustments based on the information coming in. But because it's a cycle, it's very hard to tell sometimes where is the point of greatest leverage. Because ideally, if it is a feedback loop, theoretically, I should be able to inject change anywhere in that loop, and the changes will ripple through and go full circle. Now, I know, and I may be talking a little bit abstract for some folks. And if that's true, just type it in the chat and I'll do my best to clarify without pulling ourselves off the focus of tonight's training. But I want you to, but are we good when when I talk about this concept of feedback loops? Yes or no? Okay. So if what I perceive, I believe, and what I believe, I perceive, if my theory holds true, it's not just my theory, but if the theory holds true, if I can change my perceptions, I can change what I believe. True, not true? Okay. So, but is the inverse true? If I change what I believe, will it change what I perceive? And there's the magic, my friends. Here's where the first fly in the ointment with law of attraction comes up. We know, and if you agree, if what I'm about to talk about agrees with your experience, type that in the chat. We're taught that the law of attraction is based on this idea of vibrations, that you will pull into your life the situations, circumstances, and events that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. True or not true? How many have heard something like that? Okay. Here's the problem. You have two sets of thoughts. Just like you have two sets of beliefs. There are thoughts that you know about. Right now, you're having certain thoughts, and you can actually check with your inside and say, yeah, I'm having certain thoughts. The little voice inside your head that just said, what voice told you that? True or not true? Right? Those are the thoughts that are what we call parallel or conscious. But you also have thoughts and emotions that are occurring below the threshold of conscious awareness. And those thoughts are linked to memories. Those memories generate feelings, and those generate your beliefs. So there's a connection between your dominant thoughts or your conscious thoughts, your other than conscious thoughts, the memories connected to them, and the feelings they generate. Are you guys tracking me so far? Now, here's where the whole perceive versus believe conundrum comes in. Neuroscientifically, you have a part of your neurology, part of your brain, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure Chase would correct me, called the reticular formation system, commonly referred to in most law of attraction circles as the reticular activating system. Right? How many people here have ever heard the RAS? A lot of people in the manifestation will talk about the RAS, right? Reticular activating system. Now, how many of you, I'm going to put RAS to the side, right? I'm going to give you a little razzmatazz, right? RAS to the side, right? How many have studied any of Dr. Paul Ekman's work on lie detection and emotions revealed and stuff like that? How many have ever heard me reference any of Dr. Ekman's work? Okay. In Dr. Ekman's work, Emotions Revealed, as well, and I think he talks maybe a little bit about it in his Telling Lies book, but I think it's mostly Emotions Revealed. Dr. Ekman talks about a phenomena known as the emotional refractory period. The emotional refractory period is a half-life, a period of time between when you undergo an emotional state change and the time it fades, during which time, whatever you're feeling in that moment is going to alter what you're perceiving and paying attention to in that window. So if I'm happy and I go into a room and for some reason I get into this weird knockdown, drag out fight with some mofo, right? And the argument's done, right? 10 minutes later, my kids walk in, they do something weird, and I explode on them. Anybody ever have that? Anybody ever have that? How come? Some people call it kicking the cat, right? Where you had a bad day at work, you walk in the door and take it out on everybody. And even though what they did was relatively minor, you blow up, right? Not a great positive example, I know, but it's one can we all agree, can we all admit that we've had these moments? Okay. The question becomes, so what? We all get mad. We all take it out on people we shouldn't. This is the neuroscience of manifestation at work. Your reticular activating system, your emotional refractory period, is designed to make your perception of your external environment match your internal one. Okay? Because when you go into a certain emotional state, and we're going to talk a lot about that in just a moment, when we go into a certain emotional state, we perceive the world through a certain lens. Certain things will become very, very obvious to us, and certain things will be pushed into the background. Okay? And it really doesn't matter what the states are. If we understand that the emotional state we are in at any given moment is transforming how we perceive the world, we can now begin to understand how luck works. Okay? I know I'm opening some loops here, but this is big, right? This is big. Law of attraction tells us that you will pull into your life the situations, circumstances, and events that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts / emotions. My teacher used to tell me, you bring about what you think about, right? You attract into your life what you think about all day long. Well, that's where the problem is because once again, there's thoughts we're conscious of, and then there's everything else. So for everything I'm about to share with you, I want you to think duality. You have things you're conscious of, things you're not conscious of. It's not the things you're conscious of that are holding you back. It's not the things you are conscious of that are holding you back. Last time. It is not the things you are conscious of that are holding you back. It is the things that are running on a perpetual loop below the threshold of conscious awareness that are either facilitating positive manifestation or they're facilitating negative manifestation or they're poisoning or tainting your attempts at positive manifestation. Do you guys get that? Are you guys with me on this? Do I need to explain it again? So vibration is feeling. I could sit there and go through all the science and all the woo, and let's just look at it. Let's be very pragmatic about this whole process. If you want to manifest, you must, A, have a belief system and an identity that supports the thing you want to bring into existence. You must. Otherwise, you'll sabotage it or you won't keep it. Okay? 2, you must have the ability and willingness to take actions in the physical world. You must create a vessel, a container for the intentions you're setting out to the universe to land in. Okay? If you don't take action, you will not manifest consistently. Notice I said consistently. There's exceptions to every rule. I'm not interested in exceptions unless they're exceptional consistently. I want something that is going to bear fruit consistently. Does that mean 100% of the time? Well, we'd like it to be, but nothing is 100% of the time, and there's usually a good reason for that. Okay? So can we all agree that there's 2 things you need? You need an internal environment, an identity that supports what you want to manifest. True? Can we all agree on that? Okay. The second thing that you need is the willingness. Notice I did not say the ability. Willingness to take the right actions, to be, as one of my teachers put it so well, to become the person who can have the thing they're seeking to manifest. Because I promise you, if you start employing some of the manifestation tools that I'm going to share with you, some of the changes can be pretty aggressive. Sometimes the universe will uproot your entire life because it breaks up the stagnations that are keeping you from becoming the person who can manifest the things you want. One of the problems that we have with manifestation can be summed up in one word: attachment. We become too attached to the things we're seeking to manifest, and we're too attached to the things we need to leave behind in order to become the person who can have the things we're seeking to manifest. Think of it the way my teacher Lisa Sasevich put it. Imagine like you're a trapeze artist, right? And you're doing all these wonderful aerial maneuvers, and at some point you're swinging on that trapeze, and the other trapeze is on its way in, and you can see it, but it's just out of reach for you to just grab both at the same time. So what do you got to do? You got to let go. For a few moments, you're in free fall while you're moving towards that other piece, the one that's going to take you to the next level. We have to do attachment, believe it or not, is the single biggest impediment to manifesting the things you want, to applying the law of attraction. Now, all of that stuff that we've just talked about sounds really complicated, and it sounds really sciencey and woo-y at the same time. And it's like, okay, we've given us all this stuff, David. So what? What do we do about it? Well, how do we fix it? What does it all mean? It's actually very, very simple. How many people have ever heard me say, everything human beings do is in response to a feeling? It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. Anybody? And that, my friends, is where the law of attraction and becoming lucky gets easier. If we understand a basic idea, now this is a Planet David idea. There may be some sciences out there and some studies that support this, but functionally from 25 years or more of working in the field of manifestation, and I include the 15, 20, 25, 10 years? No, 20 years that I've been dealing with chronic illness. The feelings you carry around in your body are the vibrational signature you are emanating out to the universe. Imagine for a moment if you had the world's most powerful antenna, right? And rather than being tuned to one channel, you were tuned into all of them and broadcasting on all channels at the same time. What would happen with that? Dave says, oh my God, static. Sometimes you get a good signal, sometimes not so much. Kind of like your manifestation, isn't it? Sometimes you get a great result, sometimes not so much. Your body is very noisy. It is very, very noisy in terms of the vibrational signature that you're sending out to the universe. And a lot of it is because of the crap you've accumulated, the limiting beliefs, the rules of identity that were installed in you without your conscious knowledge, without your conscious consent, but have been running your life practically, and in many cases, since before you came out of the womb. All of the stuff that you've experienced is running on an endless loop inside of you right now. The difference is you're only conscious of a small part of it. You're only conscious of a small part. And that's the thing, that's the problem, because we're so focused on these dominant conscious thoughts that we don't even realize there's something deeper and more powerful going on. The secret to manifestation is connection and unity. We talk about dissociation. How many people have heard the word dissociation? Okay. Dissociation is a process of separation. It's a process of, I'm here and now I step out of myself and I'm looking at myself, and I step out of myself and I'm looking at myself, right? And I have these different layers of dissociation. Dissociation equals separation. It is the opposite of connection and unity. So what we must do if we want to tap into the full power of your nervous system, I've said this on other webinars, I'm going to say it again, and then we're going to get real practical real quick. You are literally made of magic, my friends. You are walking around, your spirit, your energy, your soul is walking around in a device designed to manifest everything in your reality. Almost nothing about your experiences is objective. Even just saying, this is a black remote control, is more subjective than it is objective. Okay. And that's why NLP to me is the system within the system, because it allows us to peel back the layers of illusion. It allows us to throw away the jargon and look at what's really going on. So everything I'm going to teach you on tonight's webinar is functional. And I'm going to guide you through some experiences that lead you to that understanding. Now, obviously, I can't teach you everything that we do, but hopefully, if I'm true to my word, you'll have experiences tonight that will change how you think about this, that will change how you can work with what you perceive and what you believe. And for those of you who are ready to be different, to embody and express the magic that you came in with, I'll show you where to go. Okay, so are we good with that? Okay, so let's get started. Functionally, the law of attraction says that you will attract into your life the situations, circumstances, and events that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. 100% agree. The problem is nobody taught us what our dominant thoughts really are. And just like everything that is separated between conscious and other than conscious, we must activate and integrate and manage the unconscious processes if we want to be whole, if we want to be complete, if we want to become a clear antenna, a clear sender and receiver of the vibrations that manifest the experiences that we want to have. We have the ability to do this. So we have to agree on certain terms, first and foremost. I don't like the word energy, because when I talk to most people about energy, I get 27 different, if I have 27 people in the room, I'm going to get 27 different definitions of energy. So a couple of things. If I do talk, I'm going to use the word energy and vibration synonymously. What am I talking about when I say energy and vibration? A, quality, quantity. Every vibrational frequency out in the multiverse, and I don't use that term lightly, every vibrational frequency in the multiverse manifests in different mediums and interacting with other vibrational fields with different sets of qualities. How many of you have ever heard of a science known as cymatics? Anybody? Okay. If you haven't, there is a great video on YouTube. I often show it in my vibrational training classes. It's a great video, and basically what it shows you is how different frequencies manifest different qualities in different mediums. So for example, how many of you have ever been little children? Okay. How many of you, when you were in grade school, maybe even high school, were in physics class, and they had you take like a speaker, they set it on its back, and they take a little piece of cardboard, and they take some sand, and they sprinkle it, maybe it was salt or sugar or whatever, they sprinkle that over the cardboard and they play a tone or a sound through the speaker, and the sand starts to vibrate. Have you ever I want you to play with this when you have some free time. Play with this. Play different tones through the speaker and watch the shape of the sand change as the vibration changes. So what you're seeing in that moment is what cymatics is trying to tell us, is that every vibrational field will manifest certain qualities as it interacts with other vibrational fields. Right? So you can think of it as like the transmission or the signal and the medium, right? If it's traveling through liquid, is it traveling through solid? Is it traveling through the aether, right? Is it traveling through fire? Is it traveling through air, water? The qualities will change, the manifestations will change as the two fields interact, but they will be consistent. If I take a sound and a piece of cardboard and sand, and I play it, all things being equal, through 5 different speakers that are all built the same way, I will get very similar geometric patterns. Not 100% the same, but very similar. We call that a pattern, right? This is the universe that we live in. You are not one vibrational field. You are an infinite number of vibrational fields, all interacting with itself. From the most dense to the most ephemeral. Point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. Okay? That's the science. So when we talk about energy or vibration, we're talking about 2 basic ideas. A, the qualities that a certain frequency is expressing. The qualities. Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it make me feel good? Does it make me feel bad? Does it vibrate? Is it sharp? Is it dull? Those are qualities. And then the quantity of it. How much of that is there? What's the amplitude of that field? Can we agree on those, on vibration as the total of a set of qualities and a set of quantities interacting with other qualities and quantities? Can we agree on that? Okay. What does it have to do with manifestation? Well, your body is very noisy. For every feeling in your body, there is a vibrational field that is operating, right? How many people here have ever filled a bucket up with water? Anybody? Okay, perfect. How many ever tried to carry that bucket full of water across a room? Okay. It's heavy, right? Does the water stay still? Nope. It sloshes, doesn't it? What percentage of water makes up the human body? 70%. Very good day. So here's a question. It's a trick question. Why don't you slosh when you walk? Why don't you slosh when you walk? Conrad says I do. Day says we do. And you know why we do? Because we're made of water, and physics affects us the same way. But why don't we notice it? A, because cells are tiny. That's part of it. But also because you have this division in your nervous system known as the interoceptive nervous system, or interoception. Your nervous system literally filters out from your conscious awareness all the sloshing. It's always there. It's always going on, but you don't know it. Why? Because you're not focused on it. So one of the biggest aspects to manifestation is we've got to become more embodied. We've got to get our awareness back into this body so that we can clear up the noise. The sum total of all this sloshing and vibration and movies running, that's the vibrational signature that you're sending out to the universe. So the first part to manifestation is getting back into your body and controlling your frequency. Controlling your frequency. How do we do that? Posture and breathing. First thing we need to understand is that at the beginning of tonight's lecture, tonight's training, I talked about you have perception and you have belief. And the answer is what you perceive, you believe, and what you believe, you perceive. And there's this feedback loop. There's a mind-body feedback loop. What my body does affects my mind. What my mind does affects my body. Most of us are, especially if you're coming from the hypnosis world or the biofeedback world, even the NLP world to a certain degree, but not quite as much as you might think, says that we can use the mind to control the body. And that's true enough to be true, theoretically. From dealing with literally tens of thousands of people, maybe millions now, over the last 30 years, I can tell you that on a functional level, the inverse is actually true. In 9 out of 10 people, maybe more, your physiology controls your psychology. What you do with your body, or what affects your body, has significantly more impact on your mind, consciously and intentionally, than the other way around. Now, if you're trained like a Navy SEAL or a Buddhist monk or a yogi or a high elite athlete, people who have been specially trained to use their mind to interact with their body. Brian says Marine Recon, yeah. Special forces people, right? I think I remember reading once about one of the tests that the Navy SEALs had to do, where they'd have to swim 3 or 4 or 5 miles underwater, break into a facility, and then do math equations. It was this really hardcore, high stress job. And then when they got there, they had to have enough presence of mind to be able to do calculus and math equations in a certain amount of time. When I was working with Chase would tell me when he was learning to be a gunfighter, they would strap him to all kinds of machines. And if his vital signs or his facial gestures changed even a micro expression, he had to do the whole course again. So you have to remember that there's a level of training that certain groups have. So that when they say the mind controls the body, it's not just a little bit of just positive thinking, right? There's a training that goes with this. Okay. Again, Conrad says, sadly, cults abuse these concepts to break. Yes. So do the armed forces in every country on the planet, because that's how you create a soldier. So, is the technique the bad guy or the application? It's all context, isn't it? And that's another conundrum that causes us to taint our manifestations. We're going to talk about it. I have a list right here on my website, right here, of over 100 different reasons why people fail to manifest the things they want. 100 different reasons. Okay. So we're all walking around with all of these movies running in our head or in our bodies. And sometimes we're conscious of them and sometimes we're not. The system is running on autopilot. But here's the bottom line, and this is how we begin to affect this. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. The feelings in your body at any given moment are equivalent to the vibrational signature that you are sending out to the universe. And that is the vibrational signature that will pull into your life the things that are in harmony with it. The law of attraction does work that way. It's just not as cut and dried as you like to think. It's not about positive thinking. It really isn't. It's actually, believe it or not, positive feeling. The secret to manifesting is not the thought as much as it is the feeling connected to it. Not the thought, the feeling connected to it. So if we can learn to access what's creating the feelings in our body and change those things, then all of a sudden the entire field starts to harmonize. And when the field starts to harmonize, we become what some systems call coherent. Coherent is a state of harmony that exists between all the different levels of a system. Right? You can think of it as rapport if you want to. Okay. So Whitney's saying when manifesting, you have to act as if it's already happening, be specific. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. That's a little bit different. Dave's saying yes. I'm a big fan of Monroe Institute, by the way. Right, their work has significantly impacted my most recent iterations of these things. The problem that we have is that many people in their quest to be positive try to suppress the negative. We're going to have an experience of that right now. I want you to think of something that you really, really want for yourself. Okay. This is an experiment in dueling feelings, for lack of a better word. Right? I don't want to front load you. I want you to think of something you really, 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 really want for yourself. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine what it's like to have it, or what it would be like to have it. And say to yourself, I now manifest and fill in the blank. I now manifest and fill in the blank. I now manifest, fill in the blank. Just say it 3 or 4 or 5 times out loud. And when you've done that, type done in the chat. Okay. Now, hopefully before you did that, you checked in with your body to notice how you felt. What did you feel, A, while you were speaking? And what did you feel after? Right. Okay. Tense first and then calm. Okay. After. Oh, snap. Good question. Now, why am I asking you this? Binary dueling thoughts. How many of you noticed when you started giving yourself the affirmation, you had a good feeling? How many of you noticed you had a good feeling? Okay. Now, let me ask you this. While you were giving yourself the affirmation, while you were having those good feelings, how many of you noticed a little icky, nagging, I don't think so feeling in the background? If you experience, and how many of you noticed it and then tried to ignore it and focus on the good feelings? Oh, and there you have it. There you have it right then. Now notice where you felt. Now take a moment. Remember where the good feelings were and point to it. And then remember where the icky, naggy feelings were and point to that. Are they in the same place or different? My liver, Brian says. Different? Different, different, different. Ah, and there it is, isn't it? There's the difference. The feelings you know about and the feelings you don't. Now, because we're trying, this is why people screw up their manifestation. Most people believe that when they're doing these affirmations and they're building up that good feeling, that if the negative feelings come up, they should just ignore those feelings and put more juice into the positive feelings. Type "that's me" in the chat if that's what you've done in the past. Okay. Once again, you didn't know what you didn't know. In Planet David, we have certain rules by which we communicate with our own nervous system. It's called the 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. Now, a lot of you know this. Some of you don't. If you don't, Get the replay, get the show notes. The unconscious mind, your meat suit, always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud, and it's never linear. 6 dynamics. I did a whole video on it. If you go back, it can be fight or flight, Conrad. What matters is that you can definitely tell a difference between the positive feelings and the negative feelings, right? At this point, that's all we need to know right now. We need to be able to identify our body are the positive feelings being generated. And we need to identify where in our body are the not positive feelings being generated. Now, there's a tendency to believe that because the background feelings, how many of you guys noticed, again, this is a very interactive webinar, because again, this is how the information is going to stick with you. How many of you noticed that when you were doing your affirmation, that the good feelings were strong, but the background, but the icky feelings, they kind of felt like muted or quiet or far away or off in the distance, like a whim or a notion in the back of your mind, right? It's almost like it was just, hey, what about me? What about me? Here's the thing you need to understand. Those, again, this is David's working theory. It's worked thousands and thousands and thousands of times with thousands of clients. The icky, naggy feeling does not feel strong because it's weak. Let me say that 2 more times. The icky, naggy feeling does not feel strong, does not feel weak because it's weak. The icky, naggy feeling does not feel weak because it's weak. It's actually very, very strong. It's just very, very deep. It's very, very deep inside the mind-body continuum. It's deep inside the tissues, deep inside the fascia. And so when we activate it, and the only way we can find these things is by provoking them. The only way we can find out what's holding us back is by actively moving towards the things we want. Let me say that 2 more times. The only way we can find out what's truly holding us back is by actively moving towards the things we want. Action. Action in mind, action in body. The only way we can find out what's holding us back is by actively moving towards the things we want. You must get in the game. You got to take action. If you're waiting to be confident, if you're waiting for your fears to go away before you can act, you're never going to act. Okay? The system is designed, I started the webinar with this. The system is designed to keep you the same because it worked in the past. The system is designed to keep you the same because that's what worked in the past. But Shovia, that's me in the chat. You're here, you're not here because you want the past. You're here because you want a better future. True, not true? All right. Then we have to learn how to let go of the past. We have to learn how to let go of the things that make us want to run away, the things that tell us, oh, it's not worth it, or it's too much work, or it takes too long, or he's not worth it, or he's lying. Anything that any voice in your head or any feeling that tries to stop you from doing what you know in your heart will change you has to go. And the fastest way to get rid of it is to find out it's there in the first place. Right? And the fastest way to figure that out is to actually decide what you want, start taking the actions no matter what you feel. Okay, now it's like, well, chicken and egg. Not really. Because now that we know how to find the feelings, now we can start to get rid of them. What's the first step in solving any problem? You guys, this should be like problem solving 101. What's the first step in solving any problem? Knowing it's there, right? For every psycho-emotional state that you have, there's a corresponding posture and breathing pattern that facilitates it. For every less than positive belief, memory, or experience that you have in your body, There is a physical location where the energy and the information that are perpetuating and keeping that block active is stored. And if you can provoke it and point to where you feel it, you can change it. Because every thought, every belief, every memory, every trauma, every fantasy is built the same way, from the same stuff, by the same system. The beauty of it is everything that's keeping you stuck, you built. Because you built it, you can change it. You guys ready to do that? Okay. Let's start. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm trying to keep on a schedule, but I want to ask you guys a question, and that is basically, what do you guys want to know more about today? If we had to choose between uncovering your blocks, how to find them and change them, or using powerful tools to manifest the things you want, what's your priority? What's the most important thing for you today? Okay. Jag says manifest fast, revive block, review. I think you meant remove blocks. There are blocks, how to find and change them. Okay. So then this is how this will work. We're going to do one exercise real quick. Then if it's okay, I'm going to share with you the package I put together. And then we're going to come back for part 3 of the webinar, and we're going to start clearing shit. We're going to find them. We're going to clear them. And then if we have some time, I will teach you 1 or 2 of the most powerful manifestation techniques that you can start using right away. Is that fair? Okay. So remember that I said the feelings in your body are equivalent to the vibrational signatures that you send out. The good news is you have 2 sources of feelings. You have 2 sources of feelings, one you create and one you remember. Let me say that again. You have 2 sources of feelings and or resource states. One you imagine, one you remember. Okay? Now, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. What does matter is how many times you have to repeat it. Okay? So, the first thing that has to happen when we are going to do any kind of manifestation work, we must engage in active, intentional state control. In other words, we must get as much of our system coherent. We must get as much of our system vibrating as high a positive energy as possible. This is where I started with information many years ago. I started with just what I learned from my hypnosis and my NLP and my pranic healing and stuff like that. And then the heart math stuff came out with heart coherence. And then Brent Baum's work on holographic memory resolution. And then the Monroe Institute stuff. And and Sifu Johnson's work, and everybody was saying the same things with different emphasis. Right? Again, when you grab the courses and you get the packages and we start working together, we'll go through all this ad nauseam. But right now, we're going to start changing shit because that's what I promised you. So that's what we're going to do. So here's the thing we need to understand. The more coherent we get the system, the smoother and more automatic our manifestations become. When we first start these processes, there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of plates to juggle. But we're going to make it really simple. For every psycho-emotional state that you can experience, there is a posture, a way to stand, and a breathing pattern that facilitates it. Right? So make sure your physical body is comfortable first. And you're in as positive a physiology as possible. What does that mean? That means your feet are strong beneath you, shoulder width apart. Your spine is straight. Your shoulders are back. Right? You stand loud and proud. Right? And you hold that for as little as 2 minutes. Right? That's the first piece. If you get your body in the right configuration, you configure the antenna properly, then your emotions will start to harmonize with the state. Okay? You can't be a shrinking violet and be a good manifester. Let me say that 2 more times. You cannot be a shrinking violet and be a good manifester. Okay? You got to go for the things you want. However you do that is up to you, but you've got to go for it. You've got to have the energy of going for it. Okay? There's all kinds of nuances to that. So stand loud and proud. And if you can't stand for long periods of time, then find a stool where you can stand and support yourself, right? I don't really care how you do that, but your physiology has to be right. Now, what we want to do is we want to create as positive a state in our body as humanly possible. We want to generate so much emotional amplitude of a positive vibration that it just overwrites everything in our field. So how do we do that? We have 2 sources of information, 2 sources that we can tap into. One is memory, the other is imagination. Now, whether the resource that we're tapping into is remembered or it's imagined doesn't matter. They're built the same way, from the same stuff, by the same system, and we can manage them the same way. That's the beauty of it, guys. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with, whether it's manifestation or healing, getting over a phobia, putting cancer into remission. The process is largely the same. Okay. Again, I could talk for days. I do, in fact, talk for days and days and days. But let's get started. So I want you to think about something that you really want and write it down. Just write it down on a piece of paper, just real quick, right? So you know what it is. By the way, just the act of writing it down causes movement in your manifestation, but we'll talk about that later. When you're done, type done in the chat. By the way, let me check in. Has this been helpful so far? Has this been useful? Cool. All right. So I want you to think of a time. Now, there's certain states that are just good general amplifiers. The ones I love most are playfulness or fun and pleasure. If you can combine those, playful, fun, and pleasure, you've got the ultimate cocktail. All right. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to think of a time in your life when you were having the most fun ever. And I want you to write it down next to the thing you want to manifest. Just write it down. You don't have to put it in the chat. Just write it down. But when you're done, type done. Cool. All right. Now think of the time in your life when you were the most playful you've ever been. Now, I don't care if it was 7 years old on the playground. I don't care if you snuck into your parents' bedroom and started playing with all the unmentionables in their sock drawer. I don't care. As long as you were having the most playful, fun, don't give a crap time ever. And then finally, write down the experience that has given you the most pleasure ever. I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, we're talking 27. Like, you can't even think about it without your mouth watering and your tingly parts tingling. Now, I don't care what it is. I'm not going to ask you. Brian says, yes. Okay. Good. Now, I will explain to you what we just did when we come back for part 3. What I want you now is I want you to stand up. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think of one of those things on that list. And I want you to remember, make sure you're close. By the way, do not, Day, if you don't have a really super happy time, what's the most pleasurable experience you've ever had? That's what you use, right? Now, what you'll notice, by the way, what you'll notice is once this exercise is done, all the other cooler experiences that didn't come into your head will pop up. Don't worry about it. What your unconscious mind chooses, your unconscious mind accepts. It's always good enough. Okay? That's why we talked about the 6 dynamics. The unconscious mind always answers first, and it always answers honestly. So whatever your unconscious mind gives you is what it will most accept. So whatever was your first impression on that paper, that's what you go with. Okay? So I want you to close your eyes. If you're driving, do not do this exercise because your eyes are closed. You're going to go into an altered state, right? We don't want bad things to happen while you're trying to manifest good things. All right. So if you want to do this exercise and you're driving or operating a vehicle or machinery or something that requires your full and undivided attention, do not do this exercise. If you do, you're doing so at your own risk. I take no responsibility, right? If you do want to participate and you're doing some of the things I said, you shouldn't do this while you're doing, pull off to the side of the road, put the car in park, put the parking brake on, turn the car off, take the keys out of the ignition, make sure you won't be disturbed, and then knock yourself out, not literally, right? But the idea is we want you to be safe. We want you to be safe, okay? And everything we do, especially with manifestation, requires you to influence the subconscious mind in some way, usually more than one if you really want to be technical about it. So I want you to go ahead. But for those of you who are ready to do this exercise, I want you to close your eyes and think of that time in the life when you were having the most fun ever. If that's not the one you want, think of the time you were feeling the most playful ever, where you just were having a great time, didn't care. Whatever happened, happened. If that doesn't work for you, think of the time you felt the most amazing, wonderful, mouth-watering pleasure ever. And I'm not going to ask you what you were doing, who you were with, what state lines you crossed. I don't care. All I care about is that when you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful feeling of absolute fun, playful, or pleasure, or D, all of the above. And as you experience that, when you're in that place and that moment and you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. And I'd like you to notice that there's a place in your body where those amazing, wonderful feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, notice where you feel it, and point to it. And as you notice that and you point to where you feel it, notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those feelings. What color or colors might that be for you, first impression? Whatever it is, don't type it, just feel it. Whatever it is, imagine a beautiful ball of that energy with those feelings floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of pleasure, play, fun begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of fun, playfulness, pleasure. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all downers, all bummers, all less than positive sensations, real or imagined. In fact, this energy is so strong that it will dissolve anything that's not in harmony with it. When you know you've got that, breathe those energies through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. When you realize it's true, it's locked in, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to take it away. And notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, stop testing and let that energy flow even stronger. With every breath you take and every beat of your heart, notice how it begins to grow and expand till it begins to radiate from your body like the rays of the sun, forming a beautiful ring of energy around your body, like a big, pleasurable donut, right? And whatever color represents fun, playfulness, joy, and happiness. When you're ready to own it, to embody it, to personify it completely, I want you to reach out and grab that ring. I want you to raise it above your head, pull it down through your body from head to toe, over and over and over again. And notice how with each pass through your body, that ring, that energy, the intensity of those amazing feelings begins to double in size and strength, double in force and magnitude, and just keep building it and 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 building it until it's impossible to turn off. When you know it's impossible to turn off, impossible to go back to the way it was, take that energy, compress it into your heart, feel it spread throughout your entire being, 100 times stronger. Allow your eyes to open when you're ready. Notice how different you feel. And tell me what you just type in the chat what you discovered. Jag says, I'm awake and alive. I love my job. Jagdeep says, God bless David. Well, thank you for that. Hold on a second. Sheila says, excellent. Now, this is where we start manifesting. This is stage one. Do you think now, if you started writing down the things you want, you might be sending out a little stronger signal to the universe? Do you think now? Do you think now your body's more aligned and coherent? Welcome to the magic of your nervous system. Now, I'm not sure what that means, Jag, but we'll revisit it. Lamar says 100%. So with your permission, now this is what I just shared with you. Believe it or not, I've never taught to anyone anywhere. It's a first. Okay. It was something that I put together based on the elements that I teach in our Secrets of Hidden Laws of Attraction, Ultra Manifestation Mastery course, which I've alluded to. If you like this, would you like access to the entire system? Would you like to be able to figure out what you can do with this puppy? All right. Then with your permission, I'd like to share with you what we put together and talk about it. Okay. So thank you for following. With your permission, we'd like to talk to you about the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Ultra Manifestation Mastery Home Study course. The techniques and the principles in this program are curated and put together in such a way to help you go through the process of aligning your entire being, of installing certain traits, qualities, and characteristics that you may not have, and giving you the tools and the techniques to amplify the faculties you already possess. It's about rearranging your entire internal system so that when you take the actions, you have the biggest bang for your buck in your favor. So this program is all about unleashing your full potential in ways that most people never truly understand. They never truly get to experience. It's about aligning your vibrations of abundance to attract wealth and prosperity into your life, to attract opportunities, the power of luck, to pull people, places, and events that lead to success in life, love, and your professional career. It's about building relationships and deepening bonds that are with aligned, uplifted individuals. I'm pretty sure even though a lot of you have not met one another, you somehow, for some mysterious reason, suddenly feel closer to the people on this call than you did before that exercise. Why? Vibrational resonance. You guys, even though you're experiencing your own stories, your own way, you're vibrating at very similar frequencies, and that is not a local effect. That is a quantum effect. You can be across the planet, and you guys are, and you can be feeling that sense of connection, that sense of unity and bonding. That's what consciousness and group consciousness is. It's about a vibrational frequency that connects and communicates. And as long as you maintain the frequency, you maintain the connections and the benefits that go with it. So it's about inspiring change. It's about the ability to take what you've learned inside of yourself and become an example to the people around you that creates a ripple effect in the people who are closest to you, and then ultimately the people they come in contact with, right? There's an old Taoist saying, I think it's attributed to Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu said, if you want to change the world, change yourself. And when I was studying Kabbalah, that was the very first lesson that the Kabbalists taught me, was that you don't try to change the world. You change yourself and the world changes because you are different, right? The hardest way to manifest anything is to try to change what's outside of you. The most powerful, most leverageable way to create the changes you want in the external world is to change you, okay? And one of the things you can do is begin to radiate confidence on command. You can walk into a room and literally own it. You can command attention effortlessly in any situation. This program is going to teach you all about breaking and unlocking the barriers to your inner power so that you can live your unstoppable life, right? There's a lot of different levels to it, but we've made it very easy. We've given you step-by-step products and practices that will move you through the continuum of transformation. The energy exercise we just shared with you is the tip of a massive iceberg that, if you just follow the formulas, will transform every aspect of your life. It's going to make you so magnetic. It's going to draw success and people to you with an irresistible energy, right? Don't believe me. You just had an experience of it. What if you could walk through the world starting with that? What do you think your relationships and the people around you would feel when you walk into a room with that kind of an energy? Do you think it might be a little charismatic? Do you think people might want to hang out with you and be drawn into your orbit? The answer is a resounding yes. Okay, I know, because I've lived this life, guys. I've lived it for 30 years, right? And I want you to have it too, right? So everything I'm going to talk to you about, the special programs, the offers, you have until 11:59 p.m. tonight, at which point everything goes back to regular price. So if you have questions about it, our phones are open, our emails are open. We're here to help, right? So we're going to teach it now. So the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course is really all about finding and removing the blocks to your health, wealth, and success and happiness you didn't even know you had. That was our first stage, showing you how to find those blocks, how to become magnetic to money. One of the biggest problems that we have with manifesting the life we want is that we have a head full of shitty beliefs. And a lot of these beliefs, they weren't installed in us for malevolent reasons. They weren't installed in us to hold us back. They were things that were passed on from people who loved us and thought they were doing what was right. They thought they were giving us the best advice they had to give. What they were in fact doing many times was passing on information that was keeping them stuck at a certain level of being and making us inherit it too. So like I often tell my students, I often tell my clients, the things that happened to you, the things that were programmed into you, were not necessarily your fault. You were the recipient of something you didn't ask for. So it's not your fault that you have it, but it is your responsibility for cleaning it up if you want something different, right? So we're going to teach you how to do that. How to influence people remotely. This just happens automatically. I'm amazed many times how often I want something to happen and then people show up, and how I thought that interaction was going to go is completely better than what I expected. It's actually really cool, right? So this will start to happen kind of spontaneously at first, and then as you get deeper into the influence side of things and the magical side of things, we'll show you how to make it more intentional. How to find and remove hidden negativity. These are things that were installed in you that have been lurking below the surface that you didn't even know you had, right? How to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. Like I said before, if you've ever dated the same person with a different face, or had the same asshole boss or the same asshole coworkers at 5 different jobs in different parts of the country, that's what we're talking about. If you have a pain that goes away and keeps coming back for whatever reason, we'll show you how to fix that once and for all. I'm going to teach you one of the most powerful ways to give yourself affirmations that have 1,000% chance better of working with less repetitions and more juice than the ones that you started today with. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to actually literally tap into the power, the positive manifestation power of your nervous system using language, specific ways of structuring your language that cause your brain to process and access resources in a very, very different way, a very, very predictable way. Again, this is the neuroscience and the neuromantics of manifestation, right? Okay. If you want to know how this works, you can look up certain types of cause and effect language patterns. You can look up cause meaning language patterns. You can look up transderivational search. If you understand what those are, you understand why this method works. Okay. We're going to teach you how to delete negativity and vibrational imprints from your past. These are things that you may have experienced personally, or you may have inherited genetically from your parents, right? If you've ever read anything about generational trauma or familial curses and bindings and things of that nature, memory is passed down through the genetic line. And sometimes those things can activate in us and cause us to behave and think in certain ways that have nothing to do with the experience we've had in this life, right? We'll show you how to track those down and change them too. I want to teach you the most powerful manifestation tool I have ever come across. This is what we call an intentional manifestation tool. It's called image cycling, and it is truly responsible for miracles of manifestation, things that are patently impossible or should have been impossible. I have seen happen over and over again from the use of this technique. We have lots of people in the chats tonight who have used these things as well, and so much more. This is just a tiny piece of what this program will do for you. Okay, total value on this is $1,997, but because it's a special, because it's the new you offer, we're gonna give you some amazingly cool bonuses that are gonna take this and amplify it and magnify it even more. So if you act now tonight, if you click the links that show up in your chat, very, very shortly, you're gonna get the following special bonuses. First and foremost, you're gonna get one of the most powerful energy trainings we've ever released to the general public. This is our Vibrational Influence United Kingdom Special Edition Home Study course. This was a 5-day training that I taught in the United Kingdom, where it teaches you very specific vibrational, energetic, and manifestation practices dealing with sound, vibration, color, meditation, mind-body integrations. You'll gain, and through that process, you will gain control, mudras as well, mudras and mantras, and how they work, why they work, and how to put them all together in a way that is neurologically profound. Okay, so you'll learn how to gain control of your mind and body in ways most people, in a very quick way, that most people don't even think is possible. We'll teach you through these methods how to literally unlock your own unlimited potential, right? When I say you are literally made of magic, ladies and gentlemen, I am not kidding. I often get a little teary-eyed when I say what I'm about to say, and that is this: if you could only see you the way I see you. I've looked into the hearts and minds of literally thousands, tens of thousands, maybe, depending on whether you count my live trainings and my virtual training as opposed to my client work. And when I look inside of you, what I see is the magic waiting to come out. But standing between that magic and its manifestation is a child, a scared little child, desperate to be loved and accepted and protected, and desperate to be loved and accepted. And if you can give that yourself that experience, that little child inside of you, that experience, there is nothing you can't do. There is nothing you can't overcome. There is nothing the universe can throw at you that you won't make it through. Okay? I've seen this happen thousands of times. What we're missing for most of us is the fact that this is a process that even needs to happen. And even if we do know that this is a process that needs to happen, we don't have the process. I'm going to give it to you. Either you can work on it on your own, or you can work with me to do it. However you want to do it is up to you, right? I'm going to teach you how to psychically and energetically protect yourself from a full spectrum of different forms of energetic and psychic vampirism attacks and things of that nature, how to heal yourself and others, how to clear your chakras and master your own energy field, manifest just about anything you want, increase your psychic skills, and a whole lot more. This was one of the most fun trainings I've ever done. I pulled stuff out that I have never taught another human being. So if you want all the good stuff, this is a great bonus to have as a force multiplier and enhancement to your Hidden Laws of Attraction study course. It's a $2,497 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. So if you combine the Hidden Laws of Attraction Manifestation Mastery Program, which is $1997 plus the $24.97. Total value on that is $4,494. We're also going to give you one of our more powerful programs. And this is, again, part of our vibrational influence curriculum, but this is now focused on healing. And this particular program goes through like 5 or 6 different models of energy healing, how they relate to hermetic practices and skills development, and what each system is good at, what they do well, what they don't do well, and which types of healing systems are actually better for certain types of applications than others. For example, Reiki tends to be really, really good at removing and relieving pain and relaxation. Bankston system, or the system that Bill Bankston created, we teach a variation of it, but not the actual Bankston system, is extraordinarily good at treating inflammation-based diseases, right? Pranic healing is good at pain removal. It's also good at clearing up psycho-emotional stuff. Medical Qigong, which is what I call the Duracell model, is very similar to pranic healing in that it can deal with chi stagnations and things of that nature, rebalance the energy systems using acupuncture points, meridians, and the 3 dantians. So there's these different models of energy healing, and includes like 3 or 4 different schools of distance healing as well. So it has a similar set of principles as vibrational influence does, but now the application is specifically for healing. So if you do see clients, if you do deal with medical stuff or psycho-emotional stuff, this is a very powerful enhancement and revenue stream for your existing practice. If you just want to know how to do these things for yourself, by yourself, we'll show you some really cool ways to do self-healing with this material as well. It's called the Snyder Method. And it wasn't named after me. It was actually named after one of my students, Jeff Snyder, who figured it out. And then I said, I love that. I'm so proud of what you've done. I'm going to name it after you, and I'm going to call it the Snyder Method. It's a running joke. And then I found analogs to what he was showing me in other older systems. So I know this is a valid form of healing, and you'll learn it here. How to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. A new powerful energy control method for programming your mind and energy bodies for maximum results in minimum time. How to remove the negativity from your past, energetically speaking. Energetic and vibrational self-defense secrets. Again, one of the biggest things that you as an energy healer have to be aware of is what we call clinical hexing and infestations. One of the biggest problems I see with a lot of energy healers is they don't do energy hygiene very well. Then they wind up with clinical burnout, or oftentimes they wind up with symptoms that are often diagnosed as chronic fatigue, or what's the other one? It escapes me at the moment, but a lot of times what you're dealing with is either overdraining from doing too much energy healing, or the buildup of toxic energies that are fibromyalgia. That's what it is. They're often diagnosed with things like fibromyalgia. And what you're really dealing with is either an intense level of fears that have built up in the body, or extreme levels of energy parasites, or stagnations that have been picked up by working with clients and not doing thorough enough cleanings. These will often manifest with physiological symptoms. So we'll show you how to step up your energy vibration and vibrational hygiene, so that you can, if you're going to do energy work, you have the greatest potential to stay clean and healthy and have a longevity in the art. We'll teach you the most powerful engines of transformation and manifestation ever. Once again, this will be a review of the image cycling technology. So this is a $2,497 value as well, but we're going to give it to you for free. So if you add everything up to this point, you're looking at a total value of $6,991, but you get it for free, right? And then we're finally going to add on, we have a couple other things we're going to play with. This is the Secrets of Personality Transformation home study course. At the beginning of at part 1 of today's webinar, I guided you through an energy healing exercise. That energy healing exercise is a synthesis of 3 or 4 techniques or principles that we teach in this program. This program is based on one of our more powerful systems called the Identity by Design Silo. This program is designed for you to teach yourself how to do the entire 7-stage Identity by Design Silo, along with energy spinning, color breathing, magic framing, on yourself, by yourself. It's designed for you to be able to work solo. This is not going to certify you to go out and do this with other people. The focus of this program is all about transforming yourself becoming the person who can be more naturally lucky, more coherent, more energetically empowered, and actually become the person that you want to be instead of the person that family, education, religion, life experience conspired to make you, right? So you'll be learning how to reprogram your subconscious mind and all the energy systems that go with it at will, how to remove blocks and limiting beliefs, how to find and remove the hidden negativity you didn't even know you had, how to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away, how to change that crappy voice inside your head so it becomes your own personal mentor, guide, and cheerleader, how to resolve the energetic charges of your past and put them into your positive memories so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. And then using the final technique in the system, you'll learn how to install the 5 characteristics that all lucky people share, or whatever other qualities and characteristics you want to own. So you can literally get the tools to custom build your own personality and identity and skill sets. It's a very, very powerful system. It stood the test of time. It's a $2,497 value, but we're going to give this to you absolutely free because we want you to have the inner game and the outer game of things. So if you added everything up, you're looking at $9,488 if you if you register before the end of the webinar. This is a program that, again, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, when I first got into the law of attraction, it was all about getting girls or girls getting guys and stuff like that. So a couple of years ago, I decided that I was going to teach people about a subject that I know a lot about, but I don't often teach because it's kind of a little bit on the woo-woo side. And this was our Hidden Laws of Attraction Soulmate Secrets Masterclass. This was a program designed to teach you how to figure out who you want to be, what constitutes the ideal life for you, how to become the person who has the happiest, most joyful, healthiest life imaginable, and then how to attract the ideal partner to fit that life. You see, one of the biggest problems that we have is that we're not moving through the world with enough specificity about what's really important to us. We're operating on this idea that we'll know it when we see it. I promised you, you won't. I promise you that is an illusion, right? If you want to live your life by chance rather than by design, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to take the power of positive probabilities, put chance in your favor, and have a way to identify exactly what's going to feed your spirit, fulfill your heart, and make you and give you the fast track to happiness, fulfillment, and joy with a partner, this is the program that does that. This is all about the inner game of becoming attractive to your ideal partner, knowing what a soulmate is and what it is not, the different thought myths and mythologies about soulmates, but it goes even further than that. It goes into relationship management, the common pitfalls that all people who are going through these different levels and stages of relationships make, how they often confuse one set of hormonal responses for something else. We'll talk about attachment styles and how to recognize certain attachment styles and what to do to manage them, right? We'll talk about why sometimes opposites attract and why sometimes they don't, right? There are 4 basic personality types when it comes to relationships. 2 of those are like attracts like. 2 of those are opposites attract. If you don't know which one you are, you can be running west looking for the sunrise, right? Because everything that's interesting is not always connection facilitating. So you have to know where you fall on that spectrum so you can make better decisions, right? That and a whole lot more. This was a 3-day intensive, and people who've been through it have done nothing but rave about it. I'm even talking about the idea of maybe doing another live one, maybe in 2026. We'll go and do another Soulmate Secrets Masterclass. But this is all about getting clear on who you are, healing your relationship blocks, finding better ways to communicating in ways that your partner hears and understands, and giving yourself the ability to manage those relationships, from who you need to be on the inside to where you need to be on the outside to attract the people that have the highest probability of giving you the most satisfying and fulfilling relationships possible. And there's a whole lot more. I could talk for hours about this class. It's a $1,997 value, but we're gonna bonus it to you for free if you register before the end of the webinar. So if you did the math, if you're doing the math so far, total on this is $11,485 in value, right? So just as a way of review, we're going to include, if you click that link before tonight at 11:59 p.m., we're going to include the Hidden Laws of Attraction Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course, $1,997 value. We're going to include the Vibrational Influence UK Special Edition, 5-day vibrational influence training with remote influence techniques, $22,497 value. We're going to use the Vibrational Healing 2021, $2,497 value. You're going to get Secrets of Personality Transformation and that special extra bonus, the Hidden Laws of Attraction Soulmate Secrets Masterclass. It's a $1,997 value. Total value on this is $11,485. If you were to buy them individually, which of course, some of these you can't because they're not available. But today is your lucky day. Today, we're not going to make you pay $11,485. We're not going to make you pay $94.97. We're not even going to make you pay $64.97 or $44.97. Although you got to admit, it's starting to be a pretty good deal, right? Would it be a good deal at the $2,497? If you got all that stuff, $11,485 worth of goodies, things that are going to move the needle even more powerfully than the exercise that you just went through right before we started this. Would it be worth $24.97 to change your life in every way? Well, guess what? You can't have it for $24.97, right? If you click your links right now that are showing up in your chats, you can get every single thing for $11,485 worth of stuff for one low installment of just $797. Yes, I know I'm crazy, right? But you know what? So what? This is what the universe is telling me to do, and so I'm doing it. I've learned through the hard way to listen to that still small voice inside my head that says, go for it, right? So you can get it all for one low installment of $797. All you gotta do, or if you want, you can break that up into 3 easy installments of just $333 each. All you got to do is click that link. Go to nlppower.com/HLOA. It should be showing up in your chats. Right. Mia and Moss are standing by. If you have calls or if you have questions, Moss is standing by on the phone. If you get voicemail, because the stampede always starts a little before we get to the actual link, and you get the voicemail, please, please, please leave your contact information. If you leave your contact information, you'll qualify for any bonuses that we talk about. If you don't leave your contact information and you try to call us tomorrow, you won't qualify for anything, right? So if you get the voicemail, right, please, please, please leave your contact information. If we get it before the deadline, you'll qualify, okay? That being said, let me close this window out so I can see what's going on here. Oops. Now, here's the best part. I think it's one of the best parts. What if I could give this, what if you could have all this with absolutely zero risk? And that's my challenge for you. I challenge you to make this fail. What, David? Here's my goal. I truly believe, and I do, that if you apply these trainings the way I teach them to you in the program, if you work side by side, hand in glove with me, either through the videos or through our programs that we're going to be offering you, if by day 59, you're not on the fast track to manifesting more wealth and money and abundance in your life, if you're not on the fast track to becoming the person who can find the love you truly want, if you're not attracting more success in whatever way that you define it, if you don't see movement towards the life of your dreams or the dreams that you have getting closer and closer, if you're not feeling more secure and confident and powerful, if the wins aren't piling up like I know they will, and you're not enjoying more of what you truly want in life, if you're not satisfied for any reason, my friend, I will give you all of your money back. Now, I know I won't have to do that because I know what these things will do. And I've talked about what these techniques have done. And there are many people in the chats who have used elements of these trainings. So try it for 60 days. Work it. Don't try it. Do it. Do what's in the program. Work it. Have fun with it. Play with it. And if by the end of 60 days, you're not on the fast track to becoming the person you truly want to be, if the person you used to be isn't in the rearview mirror, we'll refund every dime, no questions asked. Well, I might ask a few questions, but I'll still give you your money back, right? Because we want to help, right? You guys do me no good as failures, but I know from working with hundreds of people on this, it worked for them. It can work for you. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So go ahead and click that link right now if you know this is for you. And if that little voice inside your head that's trying to keep you stuck is the one you're paying attention to instead of mine, there's a mantra that I teach all of my students. It goes like this. Fa, ka, you, fa, ka, you, right? Anyway, that's my joke. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, click your link now before September 29th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. and you'll get all these amazing bonuses. Now, I like to reward people. Today's your lucky day. So if you click that link right now, we're going to include these special fast action bonuses. You're going to get a 3-month trial membership that's 90 days to and unlimited access to our NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Practice Group. We meet on the third Saturday of every month from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. And we literally focus only on the things that you need the most help with. So you come in, I'll ask you what you want to learn. I'll ask everybody else what they want to learn. I'll create a lesson plan on the spot. And then we will drill you on those skills for the next 4 to 6 hours until you can do them in your sleep. You won't get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you will get is something more important. 2 things, actually. 3 if you want to be really technical. You're going to get access to me. For 5 hours, third Saturday of every month, you get to work with me. You get my input, my feedback. You can ask me anything you want, and I'll drill you and skill you on these tools until you own them. You're also going to get a community. You're going to get the opportunity to meet amazing people just like you, expressing their own brand of uniqueness, all on that journey, that magical journey to empower themselves and get the life they want the way they want it. They are some of the people that join our mastermind program, the people that are the mainstays in the Snyderverse. They're some of the most wonderful, caring, empowered people I have ever met. And I invite you to be among us, right? I really want that for you. And finally, of course, you get the one thing that money can't buy. And that is the opportunity to practice, the ability to own some skills instead of just reading about skills. I have found that there's basically 2 types of people in the world who buy stuff. There's people who want to know about things, and there's people who want to know how to do things. I'm hoping that you are one of the people who wants to know how to do things, because you are the people that I was put on this planet to help, right? There's always people who want to know about things and never have any intention of doing them. But if you're the other kind, I really want you to click those links right now, because I want you to have these skills, right? It's a $1,597 value. You get to watch. Now, we've been running this program, just so you know, and a lot of you do. We've been running this program since October of 2010. So literally next month, actually 2 days from now, will be 15 years we've been running this program nonstop, month after month, year after year. And we have videotaped and archived every single training. Every single one is accessible as part of the 15-year archive in the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. Stuff that's never seen the light of day in a product. It's never been featured on a YouTube video. Stuff that is everything from law of attraction to dating, mating, and relating to advanced hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, conversational hypnosis, manifestation, law of attraction, body language, lie detection, accelerated learning, past life regression, future regression, dating and attraction techniques. What am I missing? There's vibrational influence and energetic tea, remote viewing, remote influencing. If it's in my wheelhouse, there's probably a class or multiple classes on it. Past couple of years, people have been really interested in energy work. So I've been teaching them some of the most advanced energetic stuff I know that really is stuff you wouldn't get outside of certain closed door mystery schools. So I've been sharing that with people and they've been having amazing responses to that. You're going to get access to it. You try it out for 90 days. If after 90 days, you got what you needed and you're ready to move on with your life without us, we'll wish you the best of luck. If by the end of 90 days, you realize you found your new home, your new happy place, and you want to stay, we'll show you how to extend your membership. Okay. It's a $1,597 value, but we're going to give it to you for free. If you added up everything we've talked about so far, it's $13,082, but we're not done. Soulmate Secrets, I talked about that a little bit earlier. Soulmate Secrets was all about giving you the inner game skills, right? How to know what you want, how to become that person, how to identify the people who have the qualities, characteristics, and value systems that are a match and a complement to yours, how to profile them, how to get their attachment styles, their love languages, all those things, so you know what your optimal profile is and what's going to make, what has the highest probability of making you happy. Attraction Mastery, of course, you're looking at right now, is all about the outer game. It's all about, what do you say? How do you say it? Where do you say it? Who do you say it to? What are the responses you're looking for? What are the responses you don't want to see? How do men respond with women? How do women respond with men? How do men and women respond with each other? Right? How do they interpret the body language and behaviors that one gender is doing versus the other gender? Right? All of it is about the psychology and the skill sets of dating, mating, and relating for men and women. It's taught in a co-ed format, and you'll see me teaching women stuff to use with men and men stuff to use with women, and people practicing together in a safe environment. Why? Because it's important. It's important for both genders. I don't care what your gender orientation is, neurologically and hormonally speaking, you have certain things that are predisposed because of that biological foundation. Whatever you choose to identify with, that's on you, right? But here's how it works. There are certain things that work and there are certain things that don't. There are certain things that are interpreted one way by one gender that are interpreted differently by the other gender. And if you don't have the opportunity to be in the room with those other people, the people you're going to be communicating with, and you don't get how one gender interprets the behaviors of another gender, how one gender's screening system is far more advanced than the other, how the different types of language that they use sound different, but actually mean the same things below the surface. If you don't understand how to make those translations, you're going to hit wall after wall after wall in your ability to actually attract and keep the people you've learned about how to find in Soulmate Secrets. So this is a very, very powerful system. I don't include this lightly because it is very powerful and it does have the ability to give you kind of an advantage in dating, mating, and relating. So it's a $2,497 value. We're going to give this to you free because we want to balance the Soulmate Secrets program. We want to give you the outer game, the techniques to use, with the inner game to know what and who to use the techniques with and for. Okay. Total value on this, if you did all the math, is $18,706. So the final bonus ticket, and this is something that people really seem to enjoy. For the next 21 people who click that link right now, today is your lucky day. You're going to get a free VIP bonus ticket to our next virtual healing online intensive. That's this right here. Now, I'm talking about the virtual healing intensive, but you notice that there's some other events here too. So let me tell you why this is your lucky day. By default, if you click that link, you're going to be put on the guest list for our next virtual healing intensive, which is October 24th to the 26th. One of the most powerful things you can do to move the manifestation needle in your life is heal your crap, fix your stuff. But a lot of times, if people reach out to me, they find out that my prices are a little high in terms for one-on-one sessions, but people do pay it. The next best thing is to get into a virtual healing format with me. And that's what these virtual healing intensives are. It's me and you and a small group of people being led for 3 consecutive days through one healing process after another, after another, after another. It's your opportunity to come in one way with a whole bunch of stuff and come out the other side completely clean, healed, and ready to apply the manifestation tools that you're investing in yourself to learn. Right now, the default is a virtual healing intensive scheduled for October 24th to the 26th, but we also have next weekend. Let me erase this really quick. Coming up this weekend is our neurohypnotic influence crash course. This is a special conversational hypnosis training designed for therapists, coaches, salespeople, anybody who has to influence for a living. It's a 3-day deep dive virtual intensive. You can swap out your virtual healing course or ticket for this if it's something that is more in resonance with what you want to do. For those of you who like face reading, we have a face reading for business and relationship success coming up November 7th through the 9th. It's also a 3-day intensive. All these are virtual trainings, and you get to pick which one you want, right? So this is a ticket. It's only available for the next 21 people to click your link right now, and you're going to get to choose which of these you want to come to. Now, by default, we're set up for the virtual healing intensive. If for some reason you can't make that, then we'll move you to the next one, or we can slide you into one of these other trainings coming up. Okay, so you get the power to change your life faster than you ever thought possible by choosing any single 3-day virtual intensive, absolutely free. If you need more information on those details, you can give us a call at 858-282-4663. Total value on this is $2,497, but we're going to give it to you for free. Why? Because we want your butt in the seats, and we want to train you, and we want to teach you, and we want to guide you as much as we can. So this is a great way to get the benefit of working one-on-one with me or in a small group without having to travel 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles, depending on where you're coming from. All of these are online events. Total value on this is $13,579. All right, that's the wrong number. Sorry. This is the actual number, $18,706. So here's what you're getting. Hidden Laws of Attraction Home Study Course, $1,997. Vibrational Influence UK, $2,497 value. We're going to give that to you for free. Vibrational Healing, Secrets of Personality Transformation, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Soulmate. This is probably one of the best programs packages we've ever offered. So I don't know how many times we're going to keep doing this one. Traction Mastery 4-day intensive, NLP Power Mastermind mentoring program and archive, and of course the free VIP super ticket to our next virtual healing intensive. Total value on this is $18,706, and you're going to get special today only offer of $797 or 3. Oops, there we go. That's better. No, that's not right. Okay, I got to change that. It's $333. That should be different. So it's your lucky day. $18,706. All you got to do is click your link right now. The link should be in the chats. Moss and Mia are standing by to answer any questions that you have. I think Seth was in the waiting or in the chats as well. Seth and some of the other people who've been veterans in Planet David, please, by all means, go ahead and answer any questions that you have. We're going to go ahead and take a 8-minute break for you guys to go use the restroom, click the links, get your processes going. And when we come back, we're going to start looking at blocks to success, how to remove them, and then for how to find them first, how to remove them, and then we'll look at a couple of ways to do manifestation well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click those links, reserve your spots, and let's take some action and make the needle move. And I'll see you in 8 minutes. Okay, folks, I'm back from my break a little early. So while we have a few minutes, if anybody has questions that they'd like to ask, let me change this a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So what questions do you guys have from, you can ask me about the packages if you want. If you have other questions before we get back into part 3 of tonight's training, what do you want to know about? What is it that's kind of, what's your biggest questions? Like, let me open my chats up here. Is my chat. And YouTubers as well. For some reason, I can't seem to find my chat. There it is. I needed to pop it out. All right. All right. That's my participants. Where's my chat? I can't see you guys. What's going on here? See participants. I don't see my, there it is. Finally. Edie says no questions, just a huge thank you. Oh, thank you. Jagdeep said, if someone asked me how would you treat someone who has this problem, I fix it in seconds. Way to go. That's music to my ears. See, see, a lot of people expect me. Oops. I just had a slight law of attraction incident. Hold on a second. That was interesting. Anyway, it's people expect me when they come to me and they ask for help or how would I fix something. They expect me to be able to fix it because I'm the guy in the vest that shows off all the time, right? But they don't expect my students to be able to do it just as fast, and that's what's exciting. Right? And Jag, so let me read everything Jag just put up there, and then I'll speak to it. Jagdeep says, if someone asks me how would you treat someone who has this problem, I fix it in seconds. But I go in victim states where I don't remember myself as a healer. It can last days and weeks and months, right? And the truth is that's an evolution that we all go through. To this day, JJ, I don't consider myself a healer. I'm just a guy in a vest, right? Healing is something I certainly do, or I know about, but the identity of a healer, it takes a while. It takes a while to embody that, to like own it, because especially if it's not something we spend a lot of time doing. But what's important is what you do when you can, right? Well, resourcefulness is a state, right? You have to remember also that there are certain people that, even though you have the techniques to heal, there's something about them that says they're not ready, and that will impact you as well, right? A lot of times the way to work around that is to have a rote process. In other words, if I don't know how I'm going to go to heal somebody, I realize that I don't have to know, because I've spent so much time developing a system that if I just follow the steps in the system, the inertia the system itself will take care of it. So a lot of times when people come up to me and they'll say things like, David, what would you do for this? Or how would you heal that? And a lot of times I'll be in a place where I'm not in healer mode. I'm not thinking clinically. I'm not thinking in problem solving mode. I'll be in a line at Starbucks or at a convention or something like that. And what they're saying a lot of times when people approach you, this is again subtext. What they're saying a lot of times when people approach you is, how would you fix this? What the translation, I have this, can you fix it? Right? Very, very seldom when someone says, how would you fix X? Are they actually asking for a process so much as it's what we call a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an NLP or a Ericksonian language technique, conversational postulate. It's like if I ask, is the air conditioning on? Somebody who is reading subtext would get up and check the air conditioning, even though I didn't ask them to turn the air conditioning up or check the air conditioning. The proper answer would be yes or no. Whereas if somebody gets up and actually changes the setting on the air conditioning or looks at it, they've answered a different question. What you're hearing a lot of times when people ask you, how would you fix X? What they're really asking you is, I have X, could you help me fix it? Right? And the process is actually very simple. Always start with your transformational triad process. Point to where you feel it. It's literally like, if you want to start the ball rolling, even if you have no confidence in your ability to do it, the moment you begin a rote process. And our rote process always starts with point to where you feel it. The next question is it okay to change it? Is there any reason why you might want to keep it? Right? And if you've gotten answers to those questions, you'll know you've pretty much broken the inertia of the moment. You'll go into healer mode, right? Because then you just start with one of the triad techniques, and then you pyramid off that, right? Or you modify off that, which is one of the reasons, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, why we always teach the transformational triad techniques to the public on webinars. It is the closest thing to an organic mind, body, energy first aid kit that you will ever have. Like, I've literally, I'll tell you another quick story. In fact, I will read it to you. This is from one of my mega students. I will leave some information out just because for privacy and HIPAA and things like that. But this just came through yesterday. And I should state that the gentleman writing this is an emergency room physician. Okay. So this gentleman writes, I had another practice-changing experience thanks to hypnosis and David's teaching. While working, I saw a patient with a nosebleed. Routine, but also the bane of any emergency physician's existence. I tried Afrin, TXA, gauze packing soaked in both. 2.5 hours of effort with no improvement. Then, half jokingly, the patient said he wished someone could hypnotize him. I paused, gave him a look, and asked if he was serious. Long story short, after some simple direct commands, the bleeding stopped within 10 minutes. That literally came in yesterday, right? Many times, these simple techniques, because of how they integrate and tap into each of the body's systems synergistically, you will get a result that's greater than the sum of the parts. Okay? I've been doing this over 20 years, and I still look at people having transformations, and I say to myself, that shouldn't work. It just shouldn't be that fast. It shouldn't be that easy. It is, right? You don't have, and the weirdest part is, and this kind of flies in the face of classical law of attraction or convention wisdom, is you don't have to believe it for it to work. All that matters is you want it, right? It's interesting, and there's actually some science that bears this out. When people were When people were testing how powerful belief is in hands-on healing or remote healing, they would take groups of Christian, like I think it was Christian Science people, people who were very big on the power of prayer, and different religious folk who were classified as believers. And then they took the people who were non-believers, who didn't believe in anything, had them say the prayers. And what was interesting, I think it was Larry Dossey who did this research, or maybe it was Deepak Chopra. The people who weren't linked to any strong belief system actually had better healing results in praying for people than people who had belief systems. So there is some evidence to imply that belief may not be as fundamentally necessary to get healing as people thought. Seth Breitbart says that's also what Bill Bankston found. Yeah, I know Bill for sure came across that same phenomena in his studies. So that's what I love about what we do. You don't have to believe. You just got to want it. And if you do the process with the elements we give you to practice, then you will get a result that tends to be greater than the sum of the parts. And it tends to be pretty fast, right? All right. So that being said, type in the chat for me what you guys want to focus on next. I know I gave you guys some choices, but sometimes your choices change on your break or depending on the conversation. Manifesting money in business. Okay. What else? Fear of unknown. Okay. Releasing limiting subconscious beliefs. Okay. Golden Goddess wants hypnotic language. All right. So let's do this. Since we want to overcome getting a job. Okay. What else you got? Okay. Let's start with eating dinner. Okay, let's manifest eating dinner. Okay. Let's do this. So Golden Goddess is asking, why does it make me giggle? Because everything I do is hypnotic language. The most powerful, one of the things people don't realize is that language itself is actually one of the most hypnotic phenomena we experience every single day. A lot of science is going into, a lot of us still aren't even sure, a lot of scientists aren't even sure how we even acquire language. It's pretty cool. We know what parts of the brain do it, sort of, but we don't know how that happens. Does that apply to all languages? I think so. I think so. And again, depending on which part of the rabbit hole you're playing with, the idea of the concept of language can be quite interesting, right? I'm going to try to keep it as close to earthly realms as possible without going into the spirit and all the wonderful world of woo. But let's talk about fears first. And here's why. And for those of you who are familiar with the Monroe Institute, or maybe even Joe Gallenberger's work, there's a quote that I learned from him that I think is absolute pure gold. And that is this: fear is a prayer for what you do not want. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Fear is prayer for the thing you do not want. Fear is a prayer for the thing you do not want. How many therapists or mentors or coaches do we have out in the Snyderverse there right now? Just type me in the chat if you fit this bill. Okay, Jagdeep, okay. Seth, Liddy, okay. And Edie said, Eduardo, okay. So every now and then, if you're seeing enough clients, you will eventually get a client who has a laundry list of therapists and professionals that they've gone to for help where they have failed. And many times what you'll see in this person, there's two basic categories, two just very broad. There's the group that says, I dare you to fix me. And there's another group that's basically operating under the fact that they're a hopeless case and they can't be helped. The I dare you to fix me people, they have a vested interest in proving they can't be helped. Right? And they're out to prove that 57 therapists before you couldn't fix me, and you can't either. I don't take those people. Right? They usually wash out during my consultation. The other group is the one that kind of slips in under the cracks. And I'll explain what this looks like so that if you see this kind of client, you know what to do about it. Remember something. This is how I operate. You are not obligated to work with or heal anyone, period. You are a professional. You are paid to work with people. Your job is to vet the people petitioning for your help to see if they qualify for your help. Now that sounds kind of mercenary, but if you've seen any number of clients for any length of time, you will discover that of the vast majority of people, at least 50%, don't actually want or are not ready for the help they're asking for. And if you do the consultation process that we teach you in Identity by Design, or some of the other therapy classes that we offer, they'll flag themselves really, really quickly. Your job is to find the people. Your job is to find the people who are ready and willing and able to work with you. Liliana says that's a huge number. Yeah. Right. Now, I'm very lucky, perhaps. I self-identify as being lucky in that the vast majority of people who wind up in my waiting room, either virtually or physically, they're ready for change. They're ready for change. But a lot of the reasons that they're ready for change is because of the frame that I wrap around working with me. And I teach this to all my students. Many people who are in the therapy coaching world spend way too much time trying to convince a client to become a prospect to become a client. And that's what holds them back, because someone comes in and now the therapist is trying to sell their services to the person in the chair. That's where 50% of your resistance is going to come in. Okay. That's not how a medical doctor does it. You shouldn't be doing that either. What you need to be doing is saying, hey, I only work with people who meet certain criteria. If you meet those criteria, I know I can help you. And if you don't, then I'm happy to refer you to somewhere else. Okay. So part of your job as a therapist, a healer, a coach, a mentor, is parsing out the people who are not ready to do what you want them to do. Okay. So depending on your approach and the way you frame your services, you will get more of the people that are in the 50% or half that I mentioned, or you'll get less, right? My job is does this apply in sales? In many cases, Liliana, it does. Because we don't sell in Planet David. I don't teach people to sell. What I do is I teach them something we call offer psychology or buying psychology. You see, what most people do is they have a product and they desperately go try and find somebody and try to convince them to buy it. There's an old saying that salesmanship begins when the client or the customer says no, or the prospect says no. What does that mean? It means you've made an offer, the client said no, they voiced an objection, and now we have to convince them why that objection is not true, or why they should buy anyway. We don't do that. Okay? But that's what selling is. Selling is convincing people to buy something that they may or may not want. Right? But every human being on the planet
has a little laundry list inside their head and inside their heart of what they most want to buy. And they have a secret list, a little checklist that lets them know that's for me. In our world, what we do is we go through great pains to figure out exactly what the client or the prospect wants. We go through great lengths to figure out how they recognize that they're getting it. We evaluate if what we offer satisfies those wants in the way that the client recognizes it. And then all we do as part of our presentation is we show the client through our words, through our gestures, through our materials, whatever it is, how what we offer gives them what they want. And that's all we talk about. If there's 100 things I could talk about, but the client only mentioned 3, those are the only 3 I talk about, because that's all the client wants. And if I've successfully linked what the client wants and the way they recognize they're getting it to the aspects of my product or service, the hardest close you ever have to do is how soon do you want to get started? Because people will buy what they want, not what you sell them. Right? So when we, and because we're in a position where we're evaluating the fitness of the client to work with us, the client actually has to prove themselves to us. Because for every problem client you take on, you could have seen 4 or 5 other clients who you could have fixed in the same amount of time. And so it's better for you as a business person and as a healer to work with the people who are going to get the most powerful change in the shortest amount of time. Same is true with offering your services, because that's what we do. We figure out what the client wants. We evaluate if we can fulfill it. If we can, we link what we offer to what they want in a way that they recognize it and offer them the opportunity to get it. Right? It's a mentorship. It's not selling. Salesmanship begins when the customer says no. Now, theoretically, or actually not theoretically, this is experientially, if you have taken the time to figure out what a client most wants and needs and desires, how they know they're getting it, they've rated on a scale of 1 to 10 how much they want it, and you're offering them a chance to get it and they still say no, who's lying to who? Right? And usually when that happens, we say, okay, well, go home, think about it. And when you're ready, give us a call. And if we have time, we'll see you. We don't argue with them. We don't try to overcome their objections, right? Because we deal with people through integrity. We figure out what they want, how they know they're getting it. We evaluate if we can fulfill it. We link what they want to what we offer in a way that they recognize it. And then we give them the opportunity to go for it. And it's either a fit or it's not, right? So it's a much more integral, relationship-based way to work with people. And it's no different in therapy. When you take the time, and manifestation, same thing. If you take the time to figure out what it is you truly want and how you know you're getting it, and you generate the feelings of having it, you will get a much greater response from your nervous system than any other way. Why? Because it's the same system doing it. Right? All of your internal subjective experiences, which lead to your behaviors, are built from the same stuff in the same way through the same mechanism: the body, the brain, the nervous system. Okay? So it's all the same. Right? Even though the context changes, the mechanisms don't. And that's what makes what we do so powerful. And why it looks like we can do so many things in so many different contexts, even though what's literally true most of the time is we're doing the exact same thing in different contexts. So I went off on a little bit of a tangent in terms of the coaching aspect of it. So let's circle back. So you'll get the people that are daring you to prove you can heal them. I don't take those people as a rule. right? I may give them a mind-blowing experience and then let them go home and think about how much they want the change. It's the other people that you got to watch out for. And these are people who have a presenting problem. They say, I've got this, what was something in the chat here that people had? Okay, I have these limiting beliefs, all right? Let's say the limiting belief is, I can't make money, right? Or I have a financial block. Well, that's their presenting problem. And I've gone to my priest, I've gone to my rabbi, I've gone to my psychic, I've gone to my feng shui person, and I just can't. I've tried so many different things, and I'm terrified it won't work. Right? I'm afraid I'm afraid the problem is just going to come back. So let me outline what I just described to you. Someone comes in, their presenting problem is a limiting belief that they can't make money. The next thing out of their mouth is they went to this person, this person, this person, and every time they went, it didn't work, and I'm afraid it's going to happen again. The moment you hear the word afraid, the presenting problem has changed. It's not the fear, it's not the can't make money belief that's the problem. The problem is the fear. Anytime a fear of something not working, not showing up, coming back, manifests itself in the intake, in the triage of taking on a client, that becomes the presenting problem. Why? Because fear is a prayer for what you do not want. If you do what most therapists do, they try to talk the person out of being afraid it won't work, and then they apply whatever interventions they're trained in. Maybe it'll work. My experience watching people over and over and over again is that if you don't address the fear first, and when I mean address the fear, I mean that's the problem, not that. The fear is the presenting problem. That's true with your manifestations too. How many of you, by show of that's me in the chat, have ever had the thought, I want to manifest this, but I don't want something bad to happen to somebody in order to manifest it? Anybody? Right? Because you're afraid, oh, I want $1 million. All of a sudden somebody dies and you get an insurance policy and the settlement's $1 million, right? You don't want that to happen. So now you're afraid. You got to remove the fear. You got to remove the fear. The fear has to go first. This is actually one of the reasons why the pleasure state is so important. You can't feel pleasure and fear at the same time. I'm going to give you some research. It's going to be funny, but it's also going to be true. Many years ago, I created a product called Secret Orgasm Tips, and it's still very popular today. It was a course on sexuality. And during the research of that product, I had to do a lot of research on female orgasms, the neuroscience of it, the endocrinology of it, the neurological pathways, and I came across some very interesting things. Do you know that during orgasm, the ability to feel fear and pain actually shuts off? Turns off. You can't be afraid and orgasmic at the same time. It's a very bizarre thing. Or feel pain, for that matter. I don't know that it's hormonal, or it could be hormonal or electrical. Again, this is the science of it. Yeah, we could apply whatever metaphysics to it or vibrational science you want. But if we're just going purely on a meat suit level, if I can get you feeling tremendous pleasure, then it's very, very difficult for the fears that you have regarding the manifestation of something to activate. Do you understand what I'm getting at? I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying use the pleasure to circumvent or ignore the fears. I believe the first thing we have to do if we want to have a clean manifestation channel is we have to dissolve the things that make us afraid. Right? And the only way to do that is to provoke them. The only way to really find where those are at is to provoke them, right? Now, I've never really talked about this. In fact, this is a webinar of first. I've never talked about a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, but there's a whole lot of, all the experiences I've had have led me to conclusions that most people, I'm sure there are people out there like me has come to these realizations. I don't know how many are as public as I am about it, but so when we have something we want to manifest, but we also have a fear that it won't work, the priority has to flip. The thing we want to manifest, the fear of having it or the fear of not getting it, that has to be dissolved first. Make sense? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a quick reminder for those of you who are maybe on the fence about this stuff. Please remember that the Hidden Laws of Attraction program is only available until 11:59 p.m. tonight. You need to click that link in your chats right now if you want to go ahead and get it. Hidden Laws of Attraction home study course. You're going to get the Vibrational Influence UK. You're going to get Vibrational Healing, Secrets of Personality Transformation, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Soulmate Secrets, Attraction Mastery, and of course the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, and that free VIP super ticket to our virtual healing intensive, or your choice of any one of the other 3-day virtual events we've got going on. It's your lucky day special offer. You can get it all for $7.97. All you got to do is click your link in the chats and go to nlppower.com/HLOA. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And let's talk about getting rid of fears. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I want you guys to go ahead and get out a piece of paper. And I want you to list 5 things that you want. 5 things that you want to manifest. And when you've done that, go ahead and type done in the chat. Cool. All right. So first thing we want to do now, remember the exercise we did right before we talked about the packaging, where we have the pleasure feeling, we fill our body with it, it radiates out, forms a ring around us. We grab that ring and we just, like we have a hula hoop that we're just going up and down, and we just dig out, we just keep moving it until it becomes so strong we can't take it anymore. Right? So before you do any manifestation, do this first. Okay? It's SOP from this point on. You write down what you want. You prime yourself. Right? You use your pleasure color, your happy color, your playful color. All of them will work. You got to prime your energy and tune the frequency before you begin the manifestation. Now, just the act of writing down what you want to manifest will trigger a series of neurological processes in your body that open up the channels of manifestation. You don't need to understand why that works. I could spend hours giving you the science. You don't need to know it. You just need to do it. You write down what you want to manifest. And then you prime. You do your rings of pleasure, right? Or rings of playfulness, or rings of happiness, or rings of fun. I don't care what it is, but you just do that until your system's charged to the point where you can't take another round. Okay? From there, you go into whatever positive manifestation stuff that you want. Now, if during your writing or your rings of pleasure, you get any of those background icky, naggy, don't deserve it feelings, don't want it feelings, or what if something bad happens, any negative thing, right? You guys remember at the beginning of the webinar, I had you notice that you had two sets of sensations. You guys remember that? This means yes, this means no, or type yes in the chat. Okay. The moment you become aware of those ick feelings, the first thing you got to do is point to where you feel it. Point to where you feel it. And then ask yourself a question. Is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? And I need you to pay attention to the answers that pop up first in your brain. Remember, the subconscious mind, your other than conscious mind, always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud. It's never linear. Okay. Again, I've done a whole video on the 6 dynamics. It's for free on YouTube. In your package, you're going to get drilled on this over and over and over and over again. Why? Because it's true everywhere. It's true in any situation where you need to dialogue or retrieve information from the other than conscious mind. If you don't apply those 6 parameters to the information you get, you will not be moving in the right direction. Okay. The most linear way to get the information that will change things for you is the 6 dynamics. Always answers first, always answers honestly, always feels like you're making it up, always have an urge to edit what just came up, never loud, never linear. Okay. So you're doing your rings of light, or you're writing your things down. All of a sudden, oh, there's an icky feeling. I point to where I feel it. Is it okay to change this? Yes. Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? No. Should be that fast. If there's any hesitation, in other words, it's not okay to get rid of it. It's not okay to change it. Now we go to the next piece. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that feeling, a picture that you could reach out and touch, where would you reach out to touch it? First impression. Just imagine, pretend that there's a space where that picture connected to that feeling is floating, and just touch it. You must physically reach out and touch it. You must point to where you feel it. You must physically reach out and touch it. Can you do it other ways? Yes. Do I want you to do it other ways? No. Okay. This is the system. Point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. Trace the outline of it with both of your hands. Grab the edges of it, make it bigger. Notice how the feelings in your body change. Make it smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body change. Pull it closer to your body. Notice how the feelings in your body change. Put it back. Using your body and your imagination, draw a big black frame around that image. Now, the best part is you don't even know what the hell the image says or what it is. Feel along the base of the frame like it were as if it were a television. Find the knob that controls the brightness or the contrast. Turn the knob all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide which one you like better. Take the index finger of your dominant hand. We're going to do this. I'm just walking you through the steps. Take the index finger of your dominant hand, and like a stylus on a tablet, write the lessons that this feeling and these experiences had to teach you, so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now, you may write for 2 minutes. You may write for 2 hours. Just keep writing until all the feelings come up and are on the screen. When they're all ready, you just reach up, shrink it down to the size of a postage stamp, move it up over the top of your head and all the way back behind you, behind the horizon. I'm not going to tell you why that's true. I'm not going to tell you why that works. I can't. And if you watch my other webinars or my other courses, you'll learn all about it in your program. When you get your Hidden Laws of Attraction program, it's all there. It's all in the program, right? It all will be made clear, right? And then you nail it back there. Scan your body, notice how the feelings have changed. Now, more often than not, that will nuke it. But if there's a little bit left, notice that there's a color connected to the feeling. Ask your autonomic nervous system, what color will dissolve it? Poof. Usually that's enough to do it, right? But the whole point is we start off every manifestation by identifying what it is we want to manifest. Through the process of writing down what we want to manifest and generating positive feelings and charging our body, we're going to provoke any limiting belief or block that would try to taint or stop us from manifesting. The moment we become aware of it, we unpack it and attack it. We dissolve it, go back to priming. Okay? Once we've primed and we're clear, now we move into whatever manifestation technique we're going to employ. Could be informations, could be image cycling, could be divine elixir, could be timeline manifestation, could be charging water and blessing water. There's lots of different manifestation tools or techniques, but all of them presuppose that you have a clear, coherent system or channel for that information and energy and vibration to flow through without the noise and the static. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the walkthrough. Let's work up to everything before the manifestation tool that we're going to use. And I'll make, based on our time and how we respond to these things, then we'll look at what technique we're going to graft onto the end of this process so you have a full manifestation silo. Okay? So look at your list. Look at the first thing on your list. Think about having it. As you think about having it, notice if any icky feelings come up. If they do, point to where you feel it. Ask yourself the question, is it okay to change this? Is there any reason that I might want to keep it? Reach out, touch the picture. Trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. Now let's make sure we've got the right one. Grab the edges of it, make the picture bigger. Notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Make the picture smaller. Notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Pull the picture closer to your body. Try to keep the size of the picture consistent because sometimes we'll unconsciously shrink the picture as we bring it closer. Keep the picture the same size. Does the feeling get stronger or weaker? Now push it back to its original location. Using your hands in your imagination, draw a big, thick, black frame around that picture. Now, most of you are too young to remember when televisions had real dials and knobs and switches instead of touch screens and remote controls. Find the knob that controls the brightness, turn it all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide which one you like better and turn that knob all the way in the proper direction. Now, take the index finger of your dominant hand and, like a stylus on a tablet, in glowing golden letters, there were some lessons and messages that this experience has to teach you, has to convey to you, positive or negative. Write those lessons on the blanked out screen so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. You may notice feelings and emotions coming up, put them on the screen too. Some people know exactly what those lessons are and they blast them on the screen like it's nobody's business. Some people have no conscious idea what those lessons or messages are, but the part of you that created the feelings, the part of you that created the frame and the picture, that part always knows. So give control of that finger over to that part and let it write on the screen what it's trying to tell you in glowing golden letters so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. If feelings and emotions come up, put them on the screen. Some people draw pictures. Some people draw squiggles. Every now and then, a little pocket of rage comes up and people write F you, F you, F you, F you across the screen. Whatever comes up, put it on the screen. Keep writing until it's all on the screen and everything else has been let go. When you know it's done, reach up, shrink that picture down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as your higher than conscious mind floats that tiny, tiny frame up over the top of your head, all the way back beyond the horizon until it disappears completely. Feel it dip down below the horizon, locked down there for all eternity. And you all know the sound a hammer makes when you're banging on a nail. Feel it nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. When you know it's nailed back there for all eternity, scan your body. Notice how different you feel. Try to bring the old feelings back and notice what happens instead. When you're done, type in the chat what you experienced when you did this. Take your time, it's okay. Jack says zoned out. Yes, you will. Dave says, feels like there's always more. There probably is. Daly's meditation group says relief. Very good. Scale of 0 to 10, rate the remaining feelings. Two out of 3. I don't know what that means. 2 or 3? Oh, okay. 2 out of 3 out of 10. Okay. So when that happens, close your eyes, point to where you feel that energy. Okay. If the saying from your mother came up, make sure you put it on the screen. Okay. Close your eyes, point to where you feel it. Notice there's a color connected to that feeling. Again, don't type this in the chat, just follow along. Notice there's a color connected to that feeling. What's the color? First impression. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine you can reach into your body, grab all of that color, take it out, hold it in your hands in front of you. Make sure you get it all, because sometimes that shit hides. When you got it all, look at it and notice, did the color change or stay the same? First impression. Notice it's moving. It's spinning in a certain direction. What direction is it spinning? Whatever direction it's moving or spinning, grab a hold of it and make it the opposite of what it was. Once you got it the opposite of what it was, I want you to spin it like a wheel and double the spin, double the speed, double the force, double the magnitude. Keep doubling it over and over and over again until it takes on a life of its own, until it's impossible for it to go back the way it was. When you know you've got it, slam it back into the spot you took it out of. Notice the change. Notice it's gone. Notice as this new program works its way deeper and deeper and deeper into your body, any program, any belief, any memory, any experience that's not in harmony with this new set of instructions, your neurology is going to begin to shed. It's going to begin to purge like a snake shedding its skin, like old software being uninstalled by newer, better, more powerful software. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice that process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. When you know it's done, it's locked in, test it. Try to bring the old feelings back, try to turn the new feelings off, and notice what happens instead. Many times as this new program works its way deeper and deeper and deeper into our system, our body goes through all kinds of interesting changes and transformations. Some people break out in a sweat, some people laugh, some people yawn, some people cry, some people twitch. Some people just feel waves of emotion coming up. However your body does it, it's just your neurology resetting itself. It's just the emotional detox. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice the process taking place. Let it install itself completely whole and total. And when you know it's done, you're satisfied, test it. Try to bring the old feelings back. Try to turn the new feelings off. And notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need to let that process complete itself. When you know it's done, just type done in the chat. But don't rush it. Let the process happen. Okay, BK's done. I'm gonna hold my hands in this weird position until I get done from everyone. It's okay, I'll wait. I hold my hands like this all the time. You guys are doing good. You guys are really pulling the energy. I can feel you. Casey's done. Good. How about my YouTubers? Edward says, sorry, my internet keeps lagging. That's probably my fault. David says, gun, the color stays the same. Perfect. Excellent. If you're not done, imagine my hands are still holding space for you while we continue with the next part of the training. Okay. But as you get done, just type done in the chat. I don't mind if you keep, if you're done 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you honor however long or short your system takes to process out this new installation. Okay. Okay. All right. So those of you who are done, scale of 0 to 10, rate the remaining feelings, if any, or try to bring the old feelings back, try to turn the new feelings off, and report what happens instead. Bonnie says joy. Very good. All right. Liddy says, I feel clean. Jag says, tingling sensation around the area. Perfect. These are all chi manifestations. That's good. All right. So, assuming you're all in the good zone, bring up your pleasure color. Imagine that ball of energy. Fill the room with it. Breathe, wrap it around you. Breathe it through your body. Keep it building, building, building till it radiates out like the sun. Feel it form a ring of pleasure around you. Grab the ring and do your priming until every part of you is just supercharged with that amazing energy. When you've hit your load, when you've hit your max, like it's like, this is as much as I can take right now. I want you to think of the thing you want to manifest. And I want you to create an alternate reality movie, big as a drive-in movie theater screen, crystal clear like an IMAX. Turn up the sounds, the smells, the taste, the feelings. Step into it, live it, see the world through those eyes, hear the world through those ears, smell and taste and feel the world through that mind, body, and soul alive with transformations. And live that movie, beginning to middle to end, over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, but hundreds and thousands of times at the speed of thought. With each repetition, make it 10 times stronger, 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before, until it overwrites and replaces every experience you've ever had before. And then it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until it becomes so strong, so powerful. The colors begin to radiate out of your body like the rays of the sun, blending and merging and wrapping itself around that movie that you've created. And when you're ready to own it, to embody it, to manifest it, to personify it wholly and completely, reach out with both of your hands, grab that frame and the reality inside of it, lift it up over your head, expand it to fill the infinite universe, and pass it through your entire being, head to toe, mind, body, soul, over and over and over again, until every part of your being is vibrating with this inevitable, unstoppable, manifestation. This or something better. This or something better. You can even say that. That can be your mantra. This or something better. This or something better. And I want you to just keep passing it through your body. This or something better. This or something better, until it's impossible to go back to the old version of yourself. Till every part of your being is vibrating in complete harmony with this new reality. And when you know you've got it, test it. Try to go back to the old version of yourself and notice what happens instead. Yes, picture the whole process of having it. Now, once you've got that, if there was a place floating around your body where you stored things that are inevitable, that are destined to happen, a place you could reach out and touch, where would it be? Once you find that, you reach out, you touch it, take your picture, shrink it down, move it into that space, put it in, expand it to fill the room, and notice the feeling shift in your, notice what happens as you, notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as you expand that picture and lock it into place. Keep putting it in there until it's impossible to get it out. When you know you're done, test it. Try to move it out and notice what happens instead. And type your results in the chat. Sheila says, breath of fresh air. They says, well, there's a little bit of, I can really pull this off. Yes. Bonnie says, yes. What just happened? Now here's the secret. Forget about it. Just let it go. Think about what you're going to have for breakfast tomorrow or supper tomorrow. Now go out into the world and just take whatever steps need to happen as if everything you were going to do depended on the actions you took and not on your manifestations. Right? Don't even think about what you just did. Okay? Let it go. Let it go. Well, the good news, Jay, is Jagdeep, is that there's a replay. All right. Well, that's about all we got time for, but I'm happy to take questions. Once again, for those of you who've been on the fence, I mean, if you liked what you saw, there's a whole lot more than that waiting in the Hidden Laws of Attraction Manifestation Mastery Home Study course. You're going to get the Hidden Laws of Attraction Home Study course, of course, and you're going to get the Vibrational Influence UK, the Vibrational Healing, Secrets of Personality Transformation, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Soulmate Secrets, and of course the fast action bonuses, which go away when I log off the webinar. So the fast action bonuses are only good while I'm physically present on the webinar. The other ones are good until 11:59 p.m. tonight. So you're going to get the Attraction Mastery 4-day intensive. You're going to get the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Practice Group trial. And of course, you're going to get the free VIP super ticket to a virtual event of your choice. The default is the virtual healing intensive, but of course you can swap that out for anything that you think is a better fit, right? Just click that link right there, nlppower.com/HLOA. Click the link, 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 because this is the end of the line. When I log off, it goes away. But I sincerely hope you got some value. Quick question: Did I keep my promise? Okay. So I kept my end. I hope you keep yours. Go ahead and click those links, and let's do this together. Like, let's walk side by side, and let me show you how to unlock the magic that is your birthright. It's what you came here with. It's about time that somebody showed you how to get it. I love you all. In the words of the immortal Carol Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Love you all. Click those links. I'll see you on the other side. Good night. God bless. Take care.